Very warm welcome to all of you on Game On. I'm Miha Bhardwaj Alter, and this is where you get all the latest from the world of sports. And we have to begin with what else but the ICC Champions Trophy 2025 and Shubman Gill. He has an invincibility cloak hung around his shoulders in ODIs these days. Conditions and oppositions do not feature in his set list. After playing brilliantly against England recently at home, Gill faced a different challenge against Bangladesh in India's Champions Trophy opener in Dubai on Thursday night. The pitch was sluggish and the bowlers consistently probed for weakness, but Gill, he beat both to notch up his 8th ODI 100 that led India to a 6-wicket victory. The 125 ball century was the slowest he's played so far, but was perhaps the most important in his career. That uncharacteristically sedate outing carried a deeper meaning as it validated Gill's growing stature as India's all-weather batter in the white ball formats. His form augurs well for Indian future when legends like Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, who've been performing that role for several years, are in the twilight zone of their careers. And with important matches against Pakistan and New Zealand lined up, India would need him to continue in the same vein. There were a couple of signature shots last night, a cracking short-arm pull of pacer Tanzim Hassan and a spearing lofted cover drive of the same bowler 404. Those hits in the 9th over, of course, were breathtaking, showcasing Gill's timing. But even more mesmerizing was his transformation to a batter full of self-restraint after that. When Rohit Sharma got out in the 10th over, Gill was batting on 26 of 23 balls and a lift-off looked imminent, but it wasn't there. His next boundary came in the 33rd over when pacer Taskin Ahmed, he returned to attack. Till then, Gill was milking the spinners and pacer Mustafizur Rahman a lethal slower ball for singles and twos, ensuring that the quick start given by Rohit would not go in vain. In that phase, the 25-year-old scored just 30 runs off 52 balls, showing admirable situational awareness. It was of little surprise when Gill termed it as a satisfying effort. He said, and I quote, "Definitely it was one of my most important, most satisfying innings that I have played and my first century in an ICC event. So very satisfying and very happy with the way I have performed. When myself and Rohit Bhai, we went out there, cutting the ball wasn't that easy because the balls outside the off stump weren't coming onto the bat. So I thought of using my feet to even the fast bowlers when I'm trying to go over the circle." Now, Rohit was also chuffed to see the Punjab cricketer adhering to the team order. Along with carrying his bat through, Gill also tweaked his tactics as per the game's need. A feature of Gill's batting was him coming down the track even against the pacer, something he does not usually do. Generally, he stays at the crease to drive, flick or pull the quicker bowlers. A minimalistic approach that reduces the risk quotient, but Gill explained that change in his approach. He said, when the spinners came on me and Virat Bhai were talking about it in the middle, that it is not easy to score singles off the front foot. At one point, there was a bit of pressure on us, and that's what I tried to do. The strategic fluidity apart, Gill's willingness to look beyond easy on the eye, but fleeting knocks will stand India in good stead in this tournament. If the early signs are anything to go by, then the pitches in Dubai could remain slow burners. While Pakistan have only one spinner in Abrar Ahmed, New Zealand will be a more formidable rival as they have two excellent white ball spinners in Mitchell Santner and Michael Bracewell. They were exceptional in stifling Pakistan in the middle overs in Karachi on a flat bed, and the Kiwis, of course, can pose a bigger threat on this deck in Dubai. But now, India can look forward to that engagement with more confidence, knowing that Gill can anchor their innings. All right, from one star to another, it was business as usual for Mohammad Shami, who returned from injury with an absolute bang. Shami's was meant to make an immediate impact in an ICC tournament. And that's exactly what he did. He grabbed a brilliant 5-wicket haul in India's Champions Trophy opener to play a pivotal role in the team's 6-wicket triumph. In the process, he also became the fastest Indian and the second quickest overall to reach 200 ODI wickets. In the absence of Jasprit Bumrah, India needed Shami to be at his best, and Shami repaid his captain Rohit Sharma's faith by picking up a wicket in his very first over. Yes, he struck with his 6th ball, moving it just a little to graze the left-handed Soumya Sarkar. The seam position on that delivery was perfect, much like the delivery that got his next victim, Mehdi Hasan Miraj, who edged to Shubman Gill in the slips. Just when it seemed like Bangladesh were kind of running away with a big partnership between Jaqar Ali and Hridoy, Shami was called back into the attack, and he responded by breaking 154-run partnership between the two, sending Jaqar back to the pavilion. Shami, we know, is a rhythm bowler, and when he gets into a groove, he can run through batting orders on the biggest stage. This being his 5th 5-wicket haul in an ICC competition is a testimony to his absolutely superior skills. The 34-year-old quick battled a career-threatening 14-month layoff due to an ankle injury during the 2023 ODI World Cup. He returned to international cricket last month in the limited over series against England and is now leading India's attack here in the absence of an injured Jasprit Bumrah, right? So, during the course of this performance, Shami also became the fastest Indian bowler to 200 ODI wickets. Shami reached this feat in 103 innings, beating the previous tally of our current chief selector, Ajit Agarkar, who did so in 133 innings. Shami also went past Zaheer Khan's record of 59 wickets to become the highest wicket taker in ICC tournaments. The retired left-arm seamer Zaheer, he had taken 59 wickets in 32 innings, while Shami crossed this mark in just his 19th innings. He has 55 wickets in ODI World Cups across 3 editions, with 24 coming in the 2023 tournament hosted at home. So, it was a superb comeback, as Shami, who claimed his 6th ODI fifer in Dubai, also has the most 5-wicket hauls for India in this format. So, Shami had a brilliant 2023 ODI World Cup where India lost to Australia in the final, but he was the highest wicket taker, 24 wickets like I said, at 10.70 with 3 5-wicket hauls to his name. Before the first match against Bangladesh, skipper Rohit Sharma, he was asked about Mohammad Shami and whether he will be in rhythm, whether he'll be able to bowl well, and he said all he wanted with Shami was to get him back wearing the Indian colours more than anything else. Whether he gets wickets or not, that was completely immaterial for him at that point. We just wanted him to bowl for us. Not only did Shami bowl, he showed how important he is to this side, and if India harbour the hopes of winning the Champions Trophy, Shami will have to keep taking wickets with the new ball throughout this tournament. Now, in the post-match press conference, Shami was asked questions on variety of issues, and started with, how he's been so successful in ICC tournaments. How is it that he performs so well? He said, and I quote, "I always try, especially in ICC events, that even if I leak plenty of runs, I should at least get some wickets. I don't think you need to think too much about the ICC tournaments or any international match. You should just believe in your skills and back yourselves. I always work on these 2 things, that I believe in myself and I back myself." Shami was India's star bowler in that 50 overs World Cup with 24 wickets. But the team lost the final to Australia in Ahmedabad. He got injured. When asked about the injury and that layoff period, when he was sitting at home or in the NCA during rehab as he was watching the Border Gavaskar Trophy from the sidelines, what did it feel like? He said it was very difficult. I've already told you that for 14 months you're repeating the same thing, feeling the same pain. And when you see that your team is very close to the edge or it's a very close match, at that time you miss your bowlers who used to bowl along with, or your unit. I wish I was there. I could have contributed something. So you always miss them because when you're injured, you can't do anything but watch the match. And you watch it ball by ball. At that time, you feel that you could have contributed to something, you could have helped. So I missed it many times, but I have faith in all the boys. We keep winning and losing, and the performance of the boys is commendable. Shami is also asked about the conditions at the Dubai International Stadium. He said, I think you're thinking too much about the dew. It wasn't like that, but I think the wicket has played similarly. I think the only difference that we saw was that we had 3 spinners, they had 2 spinners, and if they had 3, it could have been a little more difficult, but that's their combination. This is our combination. At the end of the day, the wicket was similar and the result is in front of you. The one who had good plans and executed them well, they won. So after getting a win in the opener of the Champions Trophy, India will face Pakistan on Sunday for what will be one of the biggest games of this tournament, and a lot will depend on how these two teams read the conditions at the Dubai International Stadium. Now, we just heard from Shami where he said that don't look too much into the conditions, but what does Rohit Sharma think of this? Rohit and his team have already had the experience of having played a game here. He was asked about the conditions and he said, not sure, but it'll be pretty much similar, I guess. I'm not the curator here to tell you how exactly it'll play, but looks like it with the way the games have been played here. And after being forced to field first at the Dubai International Stadium, the Indian skipper at that time had said that it wasn't a decision he was too unhappy with and that he would have done the same if he'd won the toss, as the conditions could improve under the lights. However, what happened was very different from what was expected, as batting became much more difficult in the second innings, with the spinners getting much more turn and grip from the pitch, making run scoring much more difficult. So he was asked about his assessment of the pitch in the post-match presentation, and he said, it's just one game, very hard to make anything out of the track, but we knew there's not enough grass on the pitch and it's going to be on the slower side, and that is exactly how the pitch played. But again, you play according to the conditions, you try and think about what you want to do as a team, and I thought we adapted to the conditions really well to start with our bowling. And of course, Indian fans were absolutely overjoyed after India beat Bangladesh. They shared their experience after the match, while also looking forward to Sunday's encounter with Pakistan with great optimism. Listen in.
We are very happy India won. Shubman played well. Shami took 5 wickets. I hope Pakistan also they will win.
Lovely to watch a match, India-Bangladesh. We enjoy the match. We are waiting for clash on Sunday. इंडिया पाकिस्तान
बहुत क्लासिक प्लेयर हैं गिल, जिस तरीके से उन्होंने आज सेंचुरी मारी और बांग्लादेश को बिल्कुल नातनुस्त कर दिया, और सेम परफॉर्मेंस का एक्सपेक्टेशन रख रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ और बेहतरीन होगा 23 तारीख को. हम वो भी मैच देखेंगे.
I never thought Shubman Gill would score a century and KL Rahul's 2 amazing sixes and nothing else, and Shami's 5-wicket haul. I never thought that.
Champion trophy हमारा है, champion trophy हमारा है.
All right, moving on to football, and Spain's High Court has found former National Soccer Federation boss Luis Rubiales guilty of sexual assault for kissing player Jenny Hermoso without her consent. The issue had overshadowed the team's World Cup win. The court fined him more than $10,000 but acquitted him of a charge of coercion. Prosecutors had sought a prison sentence for Rubiales.
Spain's High Court has found former Soccer Federation boss Luis Rubiales guilty of sexual assault for kissing player Jenny Hermoso without her consent. The court fined him more than $10,000 in a case that has caused nationwide uproar. It acquitted him of a charge of coercion, the court said in a statement on Thursday. Prosecutors had sought a prison sentence for Rubiales. Rubiales' 3 co-defendants were acquitted. They had been accused of attempting to coerce Hermoso into saying the kiss at the 2023 World Cup awards ceremony in Sydney was consensual. The ensuing scandal overshadowed Spain's victory in the tournament, provoking a heated debate in Spain about sexism in women's football and wider Spanish society. Rubiales maintained throughout this month's trial that Hermoso consented to be kissed amid the celebrations. But the judge said he believed Hermoso's testimony that she had not. The judge ruled that the sexual assault, though, quote, reproachable, was of minor intensity, as there was no violence or intimidation. The ruling also banned Rubiales from going within around 650 feet of Hermoso and from communicating with her for 1 year. He will also have to pay Hermoso more than $3,000 as compensation.
Spain coach Montse Tom, she tried to keep the focus on football during a press conference yesterday, saying she had little to add to the fallout after Spain's High Court order earlier. It had found former Football Federation boss guilty of sexual assault for kissing Hermoso without her consent. Tom said the trial had taken its toll on her and the squad, and that she hoped the focus could now move squarely onto the players and their upcoming matches as they prepare to face Belgium in the Women's Nations League today. Rubiales is also the target of a separate corruption investigation into commissions paid over a lucrative deal to stage the Spanish Super Cup competition in Saudi Arabia.
So I can talk about soccer. As far as everything that has come out today, well, it is what it is. I don't want to say anything else about it. I think we are focused on Belgium and the start of Nations League. We are really excited. With everything that is happening, I have already said what I have to say, and I don't have more comments regarding that. It is true that since I have been the coach, I haven't been able to control the questions you all ask me. And this is something that isn't going to change. I would love to be talking about soccer because I think we have a great squad. Like I have said before, we have got a group of players with a lot of show, both in terms of soccer and on a personal level. And we lose a lot when we don't ask them about those things. So I hope that starting now we can start to hear more of those kind of questions, and tomorrow. And that's the feeling we have. There might be a lot of noise out there, and that is understandable, but the squad is focused on playing. Right now, we have got 23 players who are born to play soccer, and they want to train and to play, and that's what they're focused on.
Meanwhile, Jenny Hermoso, she was seen training yesterday with her team in Mexico after the High Court had found Luis Rubiales guilty of sexual assault for kissing her without her consent in 2023. The incident, which took place at the World Cup Awards in Sydney, it provoked a heated debate in Spain about sexism in women's football and the wider Spanish society, and gave momentum to the Me Too movement in the country. The ensuing scandal overshadowed Spain's victory in the tournament. The 34-year-old currently plays for northern Mexico's Tigre Femenil after having signed with the club in 2024. Spain's Equality Minister Ana Redondo, she, while welcoming the High Court order on Rubiales, has said that the sentence was important because it recognizes that consent must be the cornerstone of relationships, adding that when there is no consent, there is assault. Liverpool manager Arne Slot, he praised Pep Guardiola's management of his injury-hit Manchester City side and raised his own squad's fitness concerns ahead of Sunday's Premier League clash at the Etihad. Right back, Conor Bradley is likely to miss the City game as well as Wednesday's home game against Newcastle United with a muscle injury, while defender Joe Gomez will be out until the end of the season after undergoing hamstring surgery. Forward Cody Gakpo, who has missed Liverpool's last two league games due to a knock, is also doubtful. Coach Arne Slot said he was not 100% sure about Gakpo's availability as he's not trained with the team yet. It will be a close call for Slot. City, who are fourth in the league, were knocked out of the Champions League after a 6-3 aggregate playoff loss to Real Madrid, with talisman Erling Haaland absent for the 3-1 away defeat on Wednesday. With second-placed Arsenal, who trailed the leaders by 8 points, taking on West Ham before Liverpool faced City, Slot was asked if the result of that match would impact his tactics, but the manager said he prefers not to pay attention to the North London side closing in.
I think the biggest question to be asked is from Man City, because we face a strong team again, like we faced Villa. So Arsenal plays before us, but we know that doesn't make the game easier or more difficult that we have against City. We know we have 12 games to play, and Arsenal has 13 games to play, and if we constantly look at Arsenal or what other teams are doing, that would not help us. Yeah, what I always expect from City, since Pep is there, a great football team that can play so well. And they've had maybe one or 2 months in the 7 or 8 years he's there now that weren't the best, maybe partly because of injuries as well. injuries come back. They've signed 3 or 4 players. I can see them coming back already if you look at the result against Newcastle.
Now, this one's for all the Formula One fans. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, they gave Ferrari's 2025 Formula One car its track debut on Wednesday, with the Monegasque going first before handing over to his new 7 times world champion teammate Hamilton. The SF25, it's an evolution of last year's car that ran at the Fiorano test track, with crowds of fans seeking a glimpse after a livery launch in London on Tuesday, along with the other 9 teams. Ferrari will be chasing their first title since 2008, when they won the last Constructors' Championship in what could be an even closer season than last year, when they were runners-up to McLaren. Pre-season testing starts in Bahrain next week, with the opening race in Australia on March 16th. Well, that's it then on this edition of Game On. We're getting you all the latest from Champions Trophy and the Champions League. This is one show where you'll get football, cricket, tennis, Formula One. So keep watching us. For now, goodbye. Thanks for watching.